So who is here to represent Waterworks? If you guys all want to come up, I'll let you introduce yourselves.
Good evening. I'm Amy Kaler, the CFO of Des Moines Waterworks, and I have with me Dee Clark, who is our AFSCME Vice President, Bill Bluebaugh, who is our AFSCME President, Michelle Watson, who helps us with events, and Melissa Walker, who's trying to hide in the seats, who takes care of our communications.
Whereas water is our most valuable natural resource, and whereas drinking water serves a vital role in daily life, serving an essential purpose to health, hydration, and hygiene needs for the quality of life of our citizens, and whereas only tap water delivers public health protection, fire protection, support for our economy, and the quality of life we enjoy, and whereas the hard work performed by the entire water sector, designing capital projects, operators ensuring the safety and quality of drinking water, or a member of a pipe crew maintaining the infrastructure communities rely on to transport high-quality drinking water from its source to consumers' taps, and whereas we are all stewards of the water infrastructure upon which current and future generations depend on, and whereas the residents of Des Moines are called upon to help protect our source waters from pollution, practice water conservation, and get involved with their water by familiarizing themselves with it. Now, therefore, I, Connie Bozen, on behalf of the City Council and the citizens of Des Moines, do hereby proclaim May 5th through the 11th, 2024, as Drinking Water Week. And I call upon all residents to acquaint themselves with the issues involved in providing safe, clean, and reliable drinking water to the public, and recognize the contributions Des Moines Waterworks professionals make every day to our health, safety, comfort, and quality of life. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Des Moines, Iowa, to be affixed the 6th day of May, 2024. Thank you. And I think as we can see how the difference between a few weeks ago where the water was nothing in the river and today, we need to make sure we take care of our water. So I encourage all of our citizens, and I thank you for being here and for everybody that does the work to make sure that we can just turn on our tap and everything's good. So thank you. Here is. Water to food. Madam. Matt Unger and, okay. Whereas more people in the Des Moines Metro are being affected by food insecurity now than ever before, as an estimated 1 in 4 Des Moines residents were helped by the DMARC Food Pantry Network in 2023. And whereas food insecurity is an issue that is affecting every neighborhood in the Metro, as over 65,000 individuals received food assistance from the DMARC Food Pantry Network last year. And whereas every single person in our community can make a difference in the fight against food insecurity in Des Moines, whether big or small, and whereas the city of Des Moines is proud to encourage the broader community to join City Council, DMARC, National Association of Letter Carriers, and supporters across the city in donating non-perishable food at their doorstep on Saturday, May 11th. Now, therefore, I, Connie Bozen, on behalf of the City Council and the citizens of Des Moines, do hereby proclaim May 6th through the 12th, 2024, as Stamp Out Hunger Week. And I just would like, if you would like to say a few words.
Sure. Unfortunately, we have a very large growing food insecurity problem in our community. We have to get to addressing root causes, but meanwhile, we have to help lift these folks up and make sure that their food needs are being met. April was just our second busiest month of all time. So there is a crisis looming. So to the extent that we all play a role in helping to solve this problem, we have to all step up and do what we can to do so.
Thank you,
Mayor.
Matt. Thank you for the work, and thank you for the letter carriers to pick up all the food. So everybody get your canned goods or non-perishable, get them out. There you go. Or who is? Come on. Who else wants to come on up if you want to? Well, I'll read the proclamation. You can introduce yourselves. So, everybody here. Whereas the month of May is Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander AAPINH Heritage Month, and whereas Des Moines is home to nearly 17% of all AAPINH community members living in Iowa, and over 6% of the total Des Moines population is AAPINH residents. And whereas we honor the history and the invaluable contributions of the AAPINH communities in Des Moines. And whereas May 18th is the birthday of Vincent Shin, who was brutally murdered in a hate crime in 1982. His murder fueled a national Asian American activist movement that continues to this day. And whereas in the AAPINH community, the problem is often compounded by cultural, religious, and linguistic barriers that can keep these youth from seeking and receiving help. And whereas in addition to observing the entire month of May, we share the vision of a world where all youth, including within the AAPINH community, have the opportunity to grow up feeling proud and supported in the development of their identities and sharing of their stories. Now, therefore, I, Connie Bozen, on behalf of the City Council and the citizens of Des Moines, do hereby proclaim May 2024 as Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And I encourage all residents of this city to recognize May 18th, 2024 as AAPINH Day Against Bullying and Hate. Furthermore, I encourage all residents and visitors to celebrate our diverse heritage and culture and continue our efforts to create a world that is more just and equitable for all. So if you want to step forward, if you have anything you'd like to say.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Tai. I am here representing Iowa Asian Alliance. I am the chair of the Celebration Festival, which is the Asian Heritage Festival happening May 24th and 25th. So as Connie said, if you would like to come out to help celebrate, but also share all the culture that Asian Pacific Islanders have to share here in the greater Des Moines area, I would greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. Human rights.
Well, she's actually on the executive. I'll let her speak.
I'm not very any, but it just means a lot to us, our family. My daughter was here 2 years ago accepting it from Mayor, our previous, yes, Mayor County. Thank you so much. And we have a lot of work to do to continue to support the Asian community. Greatly appreciate all that IAA does for our community here. Thank you very much.
They're also on. And our last. We're doing something a little different for May. And Jeremy is head of our sustainability, director of our sustainability. And so last year we had a no mow May, but we decided to expand it and go to less mow May, but also to really encourage people to plant. So this is the proclamation, and there's a whole program, and I'll let you talk about that after this. Whereas there are many ways we can help support our ecosystem and environment, whether you live in a house with a yard or rental property. And whereas we can use simple methods at home to fight against climate change, including planting native flowers, nurturing pollinator habitats, aerating your lawn, building rain gardens, installing a rain barrel, composting yard waste, planting a garden, and mowing less often. And whereas every single person in our community can make a difference in the fight against climate change, and help reduce harmful emissions to build a more resilient future. And whereas the City of Des Moines developed and adopted ADAPT DSM, a community-wide climate action and adaptation plan that is full of actions we can take together for positive impact on our environment. And whereas the City of Des Moines encourages residents to think green this spring to help protect and increase our pollinator habitat, build out our tree canopy, improve our soil conservation, increase landscape beautification. Now, therefore, I, Connie Bozen, on behalf of the City Council and the citizens of Des Moines, do hereby proclaim the month of May as Think Green this spring. So, Jeremy, I'm going to let you say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor Boson. So this proclamation and the Think Green initiative is really about what our community members can do and take advantage of the multitude of programs and other events and resources that we have through the city, whether that's through our sustainability office, our public works department, or Parks and Rec. There are a number of rebates and other programs that community members can take advantage of to really help with implementing in real time the actions and the goals of our climate action plan. There's a number of specific strategies and tactics in that plan that you can review and learn about, and how you can become more active and participate in implementing that plan through initiatives like the Think Green initiative. And so encourage you to check out all of these resources and see what you can do at your own homes, at your own businesses, and other community organizations to help move our climate action work forward and protect, critical habitat, water resources, and other critical features of our community. Thank you.
I'd like to call the May 6, 2024 Des Moines City Council meeting to order. Please take the roll.
Bozen,
Here.
Simonson, Voss, Coleman, Westergaard, Mandelbaum, Gatto.
Here.
We have a quorum.
The next item is approving the agenda as presented and/or as amended. And tonight we have item 4P has been withdrawn, inspections incomplete. 21 has been withdrawn at request of the applicant. And on the regular agenda items 47 through 60, 60 has been updated. And that's our speakers list. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Been moved and seconded. Please vote.
7 yes.
Motion carries. The next item is approving the consent agenda. Those are items 3 through 46. We do have somebody who wishes to speak, and I'll read this first. These are routine items and will be enacted by one roll call vote without separation discussion unless pursuant to council rules. Council requests an item to be removed to be considered separately will allow the public to speak to a consent item for 3 minutes each for a total of 15 minutes. Please state your name, address, or ward prior to providing comments. The other item, too, is on Councilman Boss votes no on item 5. So with that, we'll have Carol Maher, I believe, has been signed up to speak. Would you like to come forward? You want to move it?
I would also like to talk about 11 and 30. I didn't request that before because I didn't have answers to the questions yet. That's not.
So you
to
want to
blame
speak on
anybody.
those items?
Yes.
Okay.
But I would move the balance.
Okay, if you want to move it, and if you want it, is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. Now we'll hear from.
Hi, my name is Carol Maher. I live in Ward 3, zip code 50319. Madam Mayor, City Council, City Manager, thank you to Councilmember Mandelbaum and others who were involved with the negotiation with Hy-Vee to get us a 2-year extension on the full-service grocery store that we have downtown. Downtown and East Village are probably the largest neighborhoods in our city, and now that I'm a resident of downtown, it's really great having a full-service grocery store available to walk to and purchase my Blue Bunny ice cream, which is on special this week. We got a coupon in the mail for $2.88 for a half gallon. So I appreciate those flyers that come every week in my mailbox that I can run over and use those coupons and get good pricing on really nutritious things like strawberries and Blue Bunny ice cream. But again, thank you to the city for making this a priority and working hard to keep them downtown for myself and my neighbors. And I hope that the relationship can continue and that we continue to have a good partner for the city. Thank you.
Thank you. So I guess we will open it up.
Oh, we moved it.
Didn't we move and second it?
Yep.
So we can vote on it. Yeah. Not used to having, give us,
7 yes.
okay, motion carries. So we'll go to the hearings now.
Hearings now.
Okay, first hearing is number 47 on conveyance of city-owned property at 1411 17th Street to Home Opportunities Made Easy, Inc., Home Inc., for redevelopment of housing. It's council communication number 24-175. We accept germane comments from the general public, 2 minutes per person to speak, 10 minutes maximum. Is there anyone wishing to speak to this? Please state your name and address.
Yeah. Clinton Webster, Director of Property Development at Home Inc. Home Inc. is at 1618 6th Avenue. Just want to take this opportunity to thank Mayor and City Council members, and specifically the Neighborhood Services Department for all their help and all the work that we do and all the work that they do. So appreciate the opportunity to continue to work with you guys.
Thank you. So,
This is a property that needs to be renovated, no doubt. I've expressed, I think at our last 2 council meetings, my frustration over the new state law and have asked, this is why I asked to speak on item 30 as well. I think we need to quickly get in front as we redevelop these properties to make sure that infill housing, especially in areas that have kind of rich character to their housing stock, is respected, especially when we hold all the levers because we're selling the property to somebody. And I think it is a mistake to do this tonight on this one and on item 30 when we don't have those in place. I asked questions about it, and you saw the answers earlier. And I think it's important that we get these done. And I hate to be a no vote, but I also hate to create a slippery slope where we're not sticking to principles that we work painstakingly hard on in our zoning plan and many other redevelopments.
So, Mr. Manager, I mean,
I was gonna say.
how long would it take to maybe try to get something in place so we can all be comfortable with
Well,
a couple of these properties that we do
Sure.
hold the levers to?
So the key there is it's plural with levers, that we have other opportunities with most of these properties to garner the same quality requirements. I think the permanent solution that we've spoken to council about would be possibly using our abatement program so that anything new being constructed would have the same quality requirements. That would take a little bit of time because it's changing the abatement, for which we'd have to do quite a bit of noticing since it involves all new construction. So I guess I would say in the interim, with the new law that was just passed, I would say that we make sure we work with our partners who are very good at working with us to make sure that things like exterior materials are acceptable and are going to be durable. We have good partners and other levers we can pull so that these projects can still continue.
So, is our partner going to answer your concerns? Or
Well, if you want to come
Yeah.
forward, I know that in the past and some of our other things, they've done homes and they uphold to the standards that we have
And
in other.
Yeah, so
groups.
I guess just for clarification, what is a concern? Do you mind reiterating your concern with regards to, I'm assuming some of the facade
Right.
and some of the visual
It's
aspects?
the facade
Yeah.
quality.
Yeah, all the things that would be in our code that would be required in this neighborhood that are in question now until we update our procedures, overlay districts, and other things according to the law.
Sure.
And I think we should be fast tracking that. And I don't know what our mechanism is to get that in place, and I don't know what the triggers will be. I mean, is it when they, maybe you can speak to when the plans were developed, and maybe you've been looking at this for months, and
So I guess I'm not 100% sure which requirements and which facade issues you're having an issue with, but with regards to our houses that we do, we no longer put vinyl siding on any of our houses. We stick to the code requirements that the zoning ordinance has in place, and so each of the different neighborhoods that we work in, each neighborhood has its own visual look, historical significance that we stick to. And so when we submit that, that's sticking to the code per what the city has. And so we're very diligent about making sure that we're giving everything on our houses to the code requirements. And then on top of that, with some of our partnerships that we have with specifically InvestESM, those neighborhoods that they're invested in, then we go above and beyond to make sure that we're meeting their requirements. And so some of their requirements, they specifically require LP siding, or they require, like a hardy plank siding. They require different looks and different aesthetic aspects to their houses. On the interior, they're requiring upgraded cabinets, hard top countertops and things like that. And so all those things are things that we're taking into account. We're making sure that every single property has a 2-car garage. So we're giving our families that are moving in there a place to put all their belongings so they're not, scattered throughout the site. We're putting blinds on all of our houses, appliances in all our houses. So then visually, when our families move in, if we don't install blinds, a lot of the families that we're working with, when it's low income, they don't have the money to be able to put into the house at that point. And so what they end up doing is they end up hanging, sheets and stuff like that. So that's why we make sure we put that stuff in there so the facade is well taken care of on top of meeting the requirements. So does that help answer the question?
It does help, and I appreciate you stating that for the record more than for just me.
Yeah.
But can I put it in my words?
Sure.
That we have a zoning code that we passed in 2018 or 2019, and the requirements of that you're going to voluntarily abide by.
Well, voluntarily and legally. I mean, we have to, if we're using taxpayer dollars to build houses, and if we're using the home funds that are allocated by Neighborhood Services Department, there's certain funding requirements using federal dollars and using those home dollars, but then there's also the requirements associated with the city. So we abide by everything and all the compliance issues. We abide by everything that we're required to. But then there's also the real world aspect of just making sure that we set our families up for success and set our neighborhoods up for success.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to add more specifically that even if the city were to remove elements of those requirements, you'd still continue to keep it at that higher standard if we had in the home agreements.
Yeah, if some of those requirements were removed, we're still probably not going to put vinyl siding up because we have issues with it long term, right? We want to make sure that these roughly $300,000 to $320,000 houses that we build, appraised at $280,000, that we're selling to our families for $150,000 to $180,000, we want to make sure that those are a positive aspect for the neighborhoods long term. And they're, especially when it comes to the homeowners, low income families aren't going to be able to put that money into these houses any time in the near future. And so we want to make sure that these houses are well built, and we want to make sure that there's zero rehab costs in the next 10 to 15 years.
I appreciate everything you're saying, and I've been a 30-year fan of Home Inc. And I've been proud of everything that you've ever put up. I think there are other partners in the industry that have fought us on these, and so I feel bad that you're the first one in front of us.
No worries.
It's kind of getting my level of frustration about new legislation and about our speed to execute a solution or overlay districts. So I appreciate everything you're saying. I'd love to see the plans before you apply for your building permit, and maybe others would like to see it as well. So I would appreciate that.
Yeah. And part of the building permit process is the site plan, the energy certs, manual D&J for the HVAC system, as well as our building plans. And so all that's submitted through the building permit process at that point.
I'd love to sit down with you or somebody from the
for sure.
Before
yeah, be
I'm
more than happy to meet with you.
Okay.
I'm willing to move it, and I don't know, those were my exact comments on item 30 as well. Is it possible to pass that so we don't have to pull it off the consent?
It would still
have to go.
All right.
We'll just do it later.
I'll move item 47.
And you seconded?
I did.
Mr. Gatto?
Yes.
Okay. Please vote.
7 yes.
Motion carries. Item 48, on conveyance of city-owned property located at 3500 Vandalia Road to Des Moines Area Regional Transit Authority for $3,860,000. Council communication number 24-198. Is there anyone wishing to speak to that? Not entertain a motion.
I'll move item 48, Your Honor.
It's been moved and seconded. Please vote.
7 yes.
Motion carries. Item 49, on a request from Pacific Star Communications, Inc., Molly Winkler, officer, regarding portions of 2 parcels located in the vicinity of 3900 East Broadway Avenue to amend the Plan DSM, Creating Our Tomorrow Comprehensive Plan, to revise the future land use classification from low-density residential to community mixed use, and to rezone the property from N2A Neighborhood District to Limited MX3 Mixed Use District to allow use of the property for an industrial service light use. A is first consideration of ordinance above. B is final consideration of ordinance above. Waiver requested by applicant requires 6 votes. We'll first hear from parties of interest, the applicant for rezoning, and those within 250 feet of the property to be rezoned. Will be given up to a 5-minute maximum to speak. Second will be germane comments from the general public, 2 minutes per person to speak, 20 minutes maximum. Is there anyone wishing to speak to this? That are, the first is the parties of interest, the applicant.
Hi, my name is Ed Pelds with Pelds Design Services, here representing the applicants. Generally, I think you understand, or you know this property as the old KGGO property. It's kind of been dilapidated for a while, and they're just looking to redo the property, use it for the small business, including property management and rehab of different houses. So they're just gonna, we had a good neighborhood meeting, Linda was there, and I feel like everyone was pretty much in support when we left that meeting. So we're here to answer any questions you might have.
If not, I think we're good. Thank you for coming. Is there one within 250 feet? If not, is there anyone else just wanting to make general comments? Is there any
discussion? Well, with that, I will move 49A and B, and I will just say they've done everything right. They had their neighborhood meeting. I was invited to it. It was very engaged. They had people from the neighborhood was there, and it was a very good conversation, and I just wish everybody would work the way these folks have worked, because they handled it very well, and it's going to be an improvement for the entire neighborhood community. So with that, I would move 49A and B.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Please vote.
Good job, Linda.
7 yes.
Motion carries. The next item is 50. On a request from LG Enterprises LLC, Christopher Prisoner, officer, regarding property located in the vicinity of 3108 Southwest 9th Street to rezone the property from limited mixed MX1 mixed use district to limited MX1 mixed use district. To remove the zoning condition that prohibits any sale or service of alcoholic liquor, wine, and/or beer on the property. A is first consideration of ordinance above. B is the final consideration of ordinance above. Waiver requested by applicant requires 6 votes. Again, it'll be the first parties of interest of the applicant for rezoning and those within 250 feet. Is anyone here to speak to this item? Okay. Second, anybody is germane comments? Seeing no one, I'll turn it over to the council.
Seeing none, I'm happy to move item 50, 50A and 50B. I'll also note, I think you've won over maybe the 1 or 2 dissenting folks in the neighborhood, which is always nice to see. And yeah, you've been a great addition to the corridor, so happy to move it.
Absolutely. You guys have done a great job. Just wanted to chime in and say thank you for continuing to invest in that building in the south side. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so please vote.
7 yes.
Motion carries. 51, on approval of a license agreement with Capital City Pride Des Moines for use of a portion of right-of-way at East Grand Avenue and East 5th Street for a temporary art installation. Council communication number 24-199. We accept germane comments from the general public, 2 minutes per person, 10 minutes total. Is there anyone wishing to speak to this item? Just state your name, address, or ward.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, City Manager. My name is Wes Mullins. I am the Executive Director of Capital City Pride, and we are located at 2643 Beaver Avenue And I just wanted to come and just say to you that we appreciate the staff who's helped us put this license agreement together. I especially want to name the help from Steve Neighbor, Carrie Inger, and especially Jen Dokovich. I just moved here about 7 or 8 months ago from St. Louis to take this job. And so this has all been new to me. And Jen has answered the phone every time I called with the question of like, who should I talk to, and pointed me in the right direction. So I just want to say thank you to the staff here at City Hall. It's been helpful. And this has been a dream for some of the people in our LGBTQ community for over 5 years, and we finally figured out a way to make it possible. And so I really appreciate your support of allowing this art to really help our people recognize how welcome they really are in this city, and that the things that Des Moines says is not always the same things that Iowa says.
Thank you.
Well, I'm happy to move this. I want to thank Capital City Pride for bringing this to us and wanting to show this demonstration. I think it's really important, and it's a great way that we can be partners. I also want to thank staff on this. Projects like this have been maybe something that we've struggled to figure out our path forward on, and this is an example where staff worked with us to figure out a way to say yes, and take their concerns into account, but also work with the community, and I think we're going to have something great to show for it. So really appreciate staff working to figure out how to do public art projects like this and engage the community, because I think that's a really important thing for us to do.
Josh, I'd like to second this and also thank Wes for his leadership. I think we're going to see really good things from that organization.
Can't wait to see the installation. So with that, it's been
one
moved
more.
and seconded. Do you want to say something, Carl?
I do.
Okay, we'll go right ahead.
It's in my neighborhood. But I appreciate the staff's willingness to create a template so that other groups that want to do art intersections, so they've created a process to streamline that effort. So this is some new guidelines, federal guidelines that allow this type of painting that were actually not allowed before or not encouraged. So
Thank you
it's all
for the
good.
work you did on it, I think, too.
Oh, well,
Yeah, so anyway, it'll be a great addition. And again, when we talk about placemaking, to get more people activated to come downtown, and this could be a great way to do that. So with that, please vote if you have it.
7 yes.
Motion carries. 52 is on Fifth Amendment to concession agreement for the Birdland Marina concessions with Less Than 30 LLC doing business as Captain Roy's. Council communication number 24-173. Again, we'll accept germane comments. Is there anyone wishing to speak? If not, I'll open it to the council.
Thank you. I would be happy to move item 52. I want to thank Scott Sanders for working with us to get this amendment in place. It seems like Captain Royce has just been hit over and over and over again with construction projects and delays, and it just seems like it's been going on for multiple years now. Hopefully by fall we will be at the end of the construction, but I just want to thank you, Scott, for listening to me, listening to them as we keep bringing this forward. And I'm really happy that at least the bike trail is open, so now bikers can at least go through the trails. So thank you. With that, item 52, I will move.
53.
second.
Or 52, sorry. Sorry. It's been moved and seconded. Please vote.
7 yes.
Motion carries. Item 53 on the proposition to authorize a lease agreement in the principal amount not to exceed $75,000 for the purpose of renting a bucket truck for the forestry department. Council communication number 24-180. Is there anyone wishing to speak to this? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I see none. I'll move item 53.
It's been moved and seconded. Please vote.
7 yes.
Motion carries. Item 54 on 2024 citywide pavement marking program. resolution approving plans, specifications, form of contract documents, engineer's estimate, receive and file bids, and designating the lowest responsible bidder as Quality Striping Incorporated, Jamie Jurak, President, $527,536. Council Communication Number 24-195. A is approval of contract and bond. General public may comment only on to the plans, specifications, form of documents, engineer's estimate, or low bidder designation, and those will be the only comments to be considered germane. 2 minutes per person. Is there anyone wishing to speak to this?
I see none. I'll move 54 and 54A.
It's been moved and seconded. Please vote.
7 yes.
Motion carries. Item 55, on 2024 citywide Portland Cement Concrete Pavement Patching Program contract. Resolution approving plans, specifications, form of contract documents, engineer's estimate, receive and file bids, and designating the lowest responsible bidder as the Concrete Contracting Company, Inc. Chad Klonglen, Vice President, $1,428,443. Council Communication Number 24-191. A is the approval of a contract and bond. Again, general comments will be accepted.
See none, Your Honor. I'll move 55, 55A.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please vote.
7 yes.
Motion carries. Item 56, on Bill Riley Trail resurfacing from Ashworth Pool to Grays Lake. Resolution approving plans, specifications, form of contract documents, engineer's estimate, receive and file bids, and designating the lowest responsible bidder as TK Concrete, Inc. Tony J. Vermeer, President, $888,870.50. Council Communication Number 24-196. A is the approval of contract and bond. Again, general comments on these items. Seeing none?
Seeing none, I'll move item 56 and 56A.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Please vote.
7 yes.
Item 57, on Fleur Drive rehabilitation from McKinley Avenue to Army Post Road. Resolution approving plans, specifications, form of contract documents, engineer's estimate, receive and file bids, and designating the lowest responsible bidder as Inroads LLC, Joseph J. Manat, CEO, $1,975,486.20. Council Communication Number 24-197. A is the approval of contract and bond. Again, general public comments. Is there anyone wishing to speak to this? A long-needed stretch to get repaved?
Just a question, maybe for people that are watching. Steve can come in and give a timeline, since it's kind of been a running joke in our city of how long we're going to work on Fleur Drive. I thought maybe we would just make it clear right now how long the stretch is going to take to fix. And it's not 2 years. And then at least everyone will know.
It said one construction season.
Yeah, I know what it said. I'd like to just, for everyone to hear from our city engineer of how long this portion.
We can also give an update on the other portion too, because I've gotten questions and staff has provided a good answer, but.
Excellent.
You know, one of the things, well, I'll just share some of it. They were actually ahead of schedule on the stretch from Watrous to McKinley. But there are a bunch of sidewalk gaps that people did not understand why they weren't finished. And a lot of that had to do with the need to move utilities. So whether it be there were manhole covers, there were telephone poles or utility poles, all of those things needed to be addressed and weren't necessarily easily apparent to folks. And I know folks have been frustrated because it seemed like that they couldn't understand the delay, but there's a good explanation
They
for
close all the lanes, and then now I think everyone's driving on the outside lanes on Fleur between McKinley and Army Post, and that is the worst lanes to drive on right now because there's massive potholes along the curbs, and now everyone's forced. So it'd be nice just to everyone will hear and know
someday at least
where we're at.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the Council. I'm Tom Block, Deputy City Engineer and also a resident of the city of Des Moines. As far as the Fluor Drive project, that project is to be completed by September 30th, 2024.
Okay. Good to
And
know.
I don't know if I got all
It's not
the
a
questions.
complete reconstruction.
No,
It's not
this
what
will be,
we've done.
this will be much less painful than the other Fluor, where that was a total reconstruction where we tore up the entire pavement, redid the base. This is just going to be milling off the existing surface and then putting asphalt back down. So it should be much less impactful, should be much quicker than the prior phases.
Do we know how long more for the center medians to be worked on as they're being worked on right now?
I don't have the answer to that. I apologize. I can sure get that to you and follow up. I don't know the answer to
Just
that.
be helpful with the questions that I think Josh and I have been getting.
Well,
and maybe some of the at-large council members and mayor have been getting the same questions.
Sure.
Related to that, and again, Tom, this may not be in your arena, but when will the median flower plantings be done? Is there a timetable for that? I think we got the money. I think we, the city, got the funds to do the medians. Right. But so is there a timetable that anyone has discussed about?
It's phased. I don't know the date.
Yeah, I'm not aware of the timetable on the plannings, to be honest with you.
Phases.
Okay. Well, it might be good to get that information out.
Sure.
Now that some things are blooming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Some
we
things
can
are getting
sure follow up,
planted,
get that information to you, but I just don't know that offhand.
Okay, thank you.
And they'll be the type of planning that's not going to affect the vision like it was before.
Right.
Yes, yes. That was, yes.
Just wanted to clarify that so everyone at home that's watching.
And water is provided within the medians.
Yeah,
now,
so we're not-
the trucks will not be stopping traffic to water the medians in the future.
And then as long as we're on the medians, and the maintenance of the Fluor Drive medians, is that Des Moines Parks and Rec, or is that Waterworks? Okay.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So there will be an end to Fluor someday.
just-
Where it'll be all smooth and no potholes.
No more
So-
T-shirts and things will be
Okay,
good.
did you move it, Jeff?
One season before we go back to phase one again.
Yeah, that's right.
We got other road.
We live in
Did you
Iowa.
move it, Josh?
Yes.
I don't think I had a chance, but I will move it now. I'll move item 57 and 57A.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Please vote.
7 yes.
Motion carries. Item 58, on Thomas Beck Road improvements from Bancroft Street to Cortland Drive. Resolution approving plans, specifications, form of contract documents, engineer's estimate, receive and file bids, and designating the lowest responsible bidder as Riley Construction Company, Inc. Chris R. Riley, President, $700,183. Council Communication Number 24-192. A is the approval of a contract and bond. Is there anyone wishing to speak to this?
See none, Your Honor. I'll move 58A.
It's been moved and seconded. Please vote.
7 yes.
Motion carries. Next item is number 11, authorizing and approving agreement with J.E. Dunn Construction Company for construction manager at risk services for the Northside Community Recreation Center with pre-construction services not to exceed $60,518. Council Communication Number 24-201. Is there one, Councilman Coleman?
Oh, thank you. I'm going to move this, and I'm going to move forward with it. I am unclear whether or not we're passing their percentage fee as well. The note that we got in response to my question infers that we are, and this is more, not a huge deal about this particular project, but I'm trying to get comfortable with the whole
process.
CMR.
AR. At risk.
AR. Because we don't, in the blue letter, in the action, it says that the way I read it, the total fees that we would pay Dunn would be $60,000. And I can't, first off, I couldn't believe that was true.
Yeah, no.
But if we're passing them as the CMAR, I think I'd like to know what all those are. It looked like that was a response to the RFP, and I do think that we should be more transparent with that.
Sure. So I'll start, and I've asked Tom to come in for cleanup here from engineering. So this is just the first piece that those fees are associated with. They are agreeing to a percentage of every set of bids that will come forward. And this is allowing us to get some materials ordered that have a long delivery time frame and get those delivered in time for when they're actually needed in construction. And so you will see phases of additional fees, Tom, if I'm getting this right, from J.E. Dunn as the next set of packages of subcontractors are determined within the process. But the fee that J.E. Dunn gets is part of their contract.
Yes, Tom Block, once again, Deputy City Engineer. The way the CMR process works is we initially go out and contract with an architect to do the design. And the beauty of the CMR, Construction Manager at Risk process, is it allows us to bring on a very qualified construction firm early on in the processes, which in this agreement here is for, it's called pre-construction services. And what the construction firm will do then is they will work with our architect as they design the project, and they will look for ways of make the design in the constructability much more cost efficient. So it's like having a building contractor sitting next to your designer saying this actually works better if you do it this way, or these materials give you the same kind of quality but they're less expensive, or things like that. So this agreement here is for those pre-construction services for them to come on board and work with our architect to get the best design. And then when that design is complete, they will go out, the construction manager firm will then go out and they'll develop different bid packages, like electrical bid package, or maybe a concrete bid package, or earthwork bid package. And then they will solicit bids from subcontractors for all those different types of specialty work. And then they will put them all together, come up with a fee, which is called the guaranteed maximum price. And then they will come back later and say, this is, after we've gone out for bid for all the packages, this is what we will guarantee our maximum price will be. And in that is their fee, their percentage. And I think in this case, I can't recall if it's 2.75 or 3%, but that gets lumped into the guaranteed maximum price, if that makes sense.
So, again, really important project. Have a lot of admiration for Dunn as a company. But this is the first step on that, and it seems like really minor without much disclosure about it, and we're really tied in the rest of the way. Like, this is our first action on it, I think.
This is our general contractor then, right?
Yes.
Well,
as far as the process that we went through, we went out, state law, chapter 26A, which put this into place here in the last couple of years, allowed CMR to be used for vertical construction, so for buildings. We can't use this type of process for roadways or sewers or things like that. But you first have to go out what's called for a notice of intent. You notify contractors that we're going to use this process for this project. You just notify them, and then a couple of weeks later, you send out what's called a request for qualifications, or an RFQ. Then all these firms send in basically their qualifications and say, this is why we think we are good for this project. And then for those firms that city staff and the selection committee review all these, and we say, okay, these firms are qualified to do this type of work, then we will issue them, those firms, a request for proposal. And then they send in a proposal which includes like their percentage fee of what they will charge for like the amount of what the cost of the project is. It could vary anywhere from, 1.75% up to like 3%, I think is what the range has been between the different firms. And then an hourly rate schedule for their staff that they'll be using on pre-construction services. And then we make a selection of the firm that we feel is best for this project. And then we enter into negotiations. And the first negotiations is with the pre-construction services contract. And that's just to get them on board to then work with our designer to get the best design and the most cost-efficient design that we as possible.
I think I understand it. From the perspective of the council, I'm not sure where our leverage is after this. So let's say they go out to the preliminary bid packages. We don't, we're very dissatisfied with the sub-selection or the price or whatever. We're now months longer into it. They've ordered some material. Like, it just seems to me like we're making we're getting married to somebody on the first date.
Well, what they do have to do is, one, they go out and they pre-qualify their subs. And then when they send out bid packages, they take bids. They take bids like we do. They send them out to their qualified subs. They receive the bids, and then they open the bids. And we have a representative there too while they're opening the bids. And then we take the lowest. They take the lowest because they're all qualified. Any firm that submits a bid is determined to be qualified. So then we take the lowest of all the bid packages. If we have 10 or 12, we'll take the lowest of all those packages and put them together to develop the guaranteed maximum price.
So when
they do get bid.
When they take that, are we asking them to do the certified payroll for the subcontractors? That if we have any questions of any of the subcontractors on site, then we can go right to J.E. Dunn and they can get the certified. That's part of our pre-qualification, correct? That's part of their pre-qualification.
I don't believe that stands in this process.
Really?
With this state law, I don't believe that that's the case.
But wait a minute.
But as far as the CMR process, though, it is an open book, and we can go to them and say we want to see every penny you spent, and they show it to us.
So then we would be able to get some certified payroll from them then. Because if we're going to go through this the CMR, then I would say you're telling me that they're pre-qualifying all their subcontractors. That should be part of the pre-qualification of their subcontractors. If we're going to use a CMR at some of these bigger projects, then that is something that they need to provide. If we ask them, if there's any question, then there should be no doubt that they should be able to produce that. Or they should not be pre-qualifying any subcontractor that's going to work on this project. Part of the reason that we're not able to do it on our own is because we don't have the staffing to do it. But if you're telling me they're pre-qualifying everyone, well then all of a sudden that's a different scenario for all of us that are sitting up here. And I do expect then that we are able to get the certified payroll then, if that's the case. Or maybe we scrap this and we start over before we get rolling with J.E. Dunn and make sure that is going to be part of this process. This is what, a $20 million project?
Yeah, I think it's 21.
And then we've got the nationwide building that's going to do the same thing. And you guys, you're not showing us that. One thing that we're not seeing also is you guys are choosing these CMRs, and then you're going through the process. The council doesn't get to see any of the process. You're just telling us who you picked. Where before, we would see who bid on it, where they were at on some of those. We're not seeing that anymore. You're making the
Well,
decision.
if you want to see the subcontract bids,
No,
we can
I don't want to
provide
see
that.
the subcontract bids. I want to see you're picking the construction manager at risk. And you're going through that as our engineering department. That's fine,
Mm-hmm.
but I'd like to know who you're talking to, what their rates were as part of, that's our decision also of who you're choosing. We've got to all be comfortable with that. These are big projects.
Mm-hmm.
I would like,
Sorry.
one of the reasons I started thinking about this is I was at a neighborhood meeting, the most recent of the meetings about this, and city staff announced that day that a contractor had been chosen and the city was working with him. I was like, well, Scott must be paying him then, if he picked him, because usually we get a hand in picking those. So
Well, that's what we haven't seen that on this process. We used to be able to see a lot of when we're bidding these processes out, who's bid on it, where they were as far as the bidding process. And I understand why we're using that, but you said that they're doing a pre-qualifying of all their subs. So part of that pre-qualification is going to have to be certified payroll now.
Well, I guess I would have, just to forewarn you, I don't know if
I
that's
understand.
necessarily legal.
Well, then we
to
can
do that.
continue this,
But-
because I do want to know that, because this is important.
We can also provide the full list of those that submitted and how those were scored, if that would be helpful.
And that's fine too,
We
but
can
I
only-
also
That
want
is on
to
the,
see.
can only
that actually the
ask, right?
scoring
We can
and the
only
listing
ask
is on the
for
city website. We have to post that by state law, and it was on the city's website. Posted.
I was leading to one question that I'd still like to ask. And so if I understand everything right, after the subs come in, they're going to return to us and say the budget for this is 18 million or 24 million or some number. What if it is more than we can afford? Well, I mean, our
We have the
budget's-
option, we have the
Isn't
option
this
to,
This is similar to what we did with the animal rescue league building.
It
And fire
is
stations.
definitely, and it's the same what we're doing with the fire station, but
Right.
we also,
So with-
we've had some issues with the certified payroll at some of those places also, that I don't want to go down the same road and getting day laborers in there and they're paying them cash. And I'm not going to listen to that on these next projects. We're not doing that. These need to be pre-qualified. He said that they're pre-qualifying the subs. If we ask, all right, give us your certified payroll, then that J.E. Dunn or Ryan Company that's going to do our fire station better be able to produce that if we're going to go down this route.
but the one thing I will say about this process is we are getting the cream of the crop of the contractors.
Well, then
And,
we shouldn't have any problem then. Then it shouldn't be, then what I'm asking is not a big deal. Right?
May I make a suggestion and then a comment? Maybe this is a conversation for a workshop, just to again describe this process. I can tell you as an architect, when the state began to allow this process, I was overjoyed for several reasons. One, this gives us the ability to hire a qualified contractors, as you have described, to be with us from the very beginning. What has happened so many years in the past, you hire an architect, the architect designs it, we put it out for bid, holy cow, we're 20% over budget. And then we're scrambling and then we're making decisions. This does allow this person, and it could be J.E. Dunn or any other qualified contractor, they are at risk. They have skin in this game. What I hear you saying, Joe, is that there are certain aspects that you want to make sure are being
I love
upheld.
this process. I think this is
Absolutely agree
fantastic.
with that. So let's get that information. This is a good process.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong, I'm not questioning this process. I do like this, but I also want to be able to say, we have the right subcontractors in place, and we have a way now, if we're going to use this CMR, because before, we didn't have the staff to be able to handle the certified payroll question, is the answer that we've all gotten. Now, if we have a CMR in place, and they are the at-risk folks, then they need to be able to produce, if we have any questions about who's working on the site and who's getting paid. That's all I'm asking.
So I need to add.
We just, hold on just a second.
Just need to add that
clarity here.
I did get clarification that we can ask like we have been able to, but we don't have assurances that it wouldn't be challenged legally.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure that that's known. Secondly, though, you asked us additional question there about reviewing payroll. That is a different step that the contractors are not ready to do. That was not part of the discussion. So if there is a desire that the contractor, in this case J.E. Dunn, would need to be able to review payroll to confirm different aspects of taxes and things of that nature. That is an additional ask that has not been put on them at this point.
I just want, if they hire ABC Drywall Company or whatever, that ABC Drywall Company is in there doing the work and they're paying ABC Drywall. ABC Drywall is not subbing it out to DEZ Drywall, and now we don't know who's paying that.
That we can confirm.
We're not, I mean, if we're paying ABC Drywall, I want to make sure that they're doing the work. And that is the only thing that I'm asking. And I think we've had questions in the past where they've hired a subcontractor and then the subcontractor will go out and sub it out again to another one. And then that's where we become, where we have.
Yeah, and I would agree if we have those issues.
That's where we've had an issue there.
Yeah, and that's what, another reason why we love this process too.
Yeah.
Because we think, now can I say absolutely that CMR would not try that? No, I can't say absolutely, but with the firms that we're working with, I would say I would
But then
a
the
lot
next,
against it.
you know, to answer Councilman Coleman's question, okay, so we've chosen J.E. Dunn. We're not changing from J.E. Dunn, even if they come back and they, you know, the bid's a higher number, we're not going to go back and get a different company. I mean, this is our partner in building this.
But what's the difference?
Going forward.
That's correct.
Okay.
So it's no
But I
different
think
than
that
any other
Councilman Coleman
contract,
wants to
right?
know that, and that was his
No
question.
different than the other bid.
Right. It's similar in the sense you're picking a general contractor, but you get a lot of other benefits with that.
But we're picking them right now.
It's my concern, and I will move it, but I want, it seems to me that all the benefits of this process is that we start with a guaranteed price, right?
No.
No,
That's
what-
when the
what's going on-
packages come in.
Yeah, what's going on now is they're working with our architect to design it. And then when the design is done, then they will be getting the prices to build
So
that.
every time we do this, we'll choose the contractor before we know how much it is.
Before the guaranteed price, but we will know what their fee structure is going to be. We'll know their qualifications. We'll know their
And so
process.
is tonight, a big thing that we're doing is accepting their fee?
Yeah, that is part of the fee structure.
It's nowhere in our materials or the roll call.
That's a good point, is the whatever percent.
That, I believe that will come along with the GMP in the fee. This here has some hourly rates and some hours estimated to put into the pre-construction. The fee percentage, which they have submitted to us through this whole process, comes with when the GMP document is in the future.
Is that standard?
Yep. No, that's right. This is just the, sorry.
No, please.
Jim Hoff, Assistant City Manager. This is just for the pre-construction services. So Tom did outline that very well. So it's the constructability review. It's sitting at the table while there's design. So this is only for the 60,500. So
But they have submitted what their percentage fee will
Yes.
be on the other phases as well.
But once they sit through this process, we're not choosing a different CMR. I mean, once we choose them to sit down with the architect and designing it and getting us a number, they're our contractor. They're our CMR. We're not choosing, we don't really have another opportunity to choose someone else, do we?
I mean, that's a legal
That's
question. But
typically, that's not how it happens. That's not how it happened at the other, when we used it at the ARL, right?
I don't want to answer a legal question that I don't know, but we're only doing the pre-construction services, so it's only through that. If something went awry, I don't believe, so this is a lot of caveats here.
I don't know what legal question I'm
Well, I
asking.
think here, Brett, it's a fairly new process. We've used it on a couple of projects now.
Yeah.
So this is the pre, so I guess it's the determination I mean, we can have the work session. I think we need to have a work session to
It'd be
explain
helpful
it better.
To summarize what happened with the
Summarize.
last two projects.
So the animal services building was a construction manager, but not a construction manager at risk. So there's a
It's a little
little,
bit different, yeah,
a
so we
little
can,
twist in that, so that was the
This is
first building.
This
Pardon?
is even better.
Yeah, this is even better.
I believe it can be better. I want to move forward. And I'll move this tonight. I want to stay on track for the neighbors and everybody that's invested in it. I don't think it's a swing probably of a lot of money or a lot of worry. It's going to be what it is. But I do think it's in the future. I would rather have not authorized them to go. You started by saying we're doing this in part so they can pre-order some supplies. And that really takes the leverage away from the city. So luckily, J.E. Dunn is a great company, and they'll be good partners of ours, and they want to do work down the road for us. But I do want to learn more about it, so I know why this was a wise decision to lock us into something where we don't know, especially if we have supplies and something happens where we have to, value engineer it or something after bids come in. So I'll move 11 and ask that we have a workshop, and I think the evaluation of the other projects that have been under construction manager or construction manager at risk would be helpful.
So then, can you just send us the other companies that you interviewed for this? And I know you did some interviews at the Nationwide and kind of how the scoring went of who, why you've chosen some of those, and and the fire department or the Station 4, I think you did the same thing. And I mean, we're just kind of like, yeah, I guess we chose this company, or I guess we chose that company, and we don't have any information for us to push the button. And I would feel a lot more comfortable the more information that I have. So that would just be helpful.
okay.
We'll bring that back.
So we can schedule it maybe at the next work session.
you can just
because
email
this
me
is going to
that.
be, yeah, but we will get a work session, the next one immediately, so that we have it covered, so we have answered the questions that everybody has. So I would suggest get ready for questions on the work session. So with that, it's been moved. It's been seconded. Please vote.
Thank you.
7 yes.
Motion carries.
Sorry. That was a lot of time.
Was
Got
it
anywhere else to
30?
go?
30.
Oh.
Subordination agreements of existing home investment partnership program home mortgage on 3314 East 7th Street and 1617 22nd Street to Central Bank construction loan to Home Opportunities Made Easy Home Inc. Council communication number 24-177. Councilman Coleman? You wanted
Yeah, we had a statement from Home Inc. earlier, and I accept their commitment to high standards. I mentioned before that this was the same issue. I'll move 30.
there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Please vote.
7 yes.
Motion carries. We're back to ordinance for first consideration. Item 59, amending Chapter 114 of the Municipal Code regarding traffic regulation, changes as follows. Council communication number 24-193. A, speed limit and parking modification, 35th Street from Ingersoll Avenue to University Avenue. B, code corrections on Locust Street between 5th Avenue and 6th Avenue, and Locust between 7th and 8th Street. Anyone like to?
I'll move item 59, 59A, 59B, and pursuant to Rule 42A, waive the second and third reading.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Please vote.
7 yes.
Motion carries. Item 60 is a request to speak, and I will read our statement. We provide speakers under the public speaking portion the opportunity to address the council for up to 3 minutes each, for up to 20 speakers for a total of 1 hour. Speakers will be called forward individually, and we ask everyone to please state their name, address, or ward prior to providing comments. Please keep comments germane and avoid references to personalities or character attacks, as those types of comments do not contribute to the purpose for which this public forum exists. As a reminder to the council and the public, this public speaking time is not a time for council to engage in discussion. It is our obligation to discuss only matters posted on the public agenda. Matters requiring attention will receive appropriate staff or council follow-up at a time after the meeting. Thank you for your support of Des Moines, and we appreciate your input. And the first one is William Hamilton. Is William here? I don't. The next is Adam Callanan.
Hello, my name is Adam Callanan. I live in Ward 3. The Des Moines City Council has a problem with a lack of transparency and failing to keep public business in public meetings. Some infractions are small and seemingly harmless, but recent reporting about secret meetings suggests that when council builds a habit of flaunting open meeting laws, it can appear to the public, whether or not it's true, that things are being hidden, because the public has no reasonable way to verify what's happening behind closed doors. I'm going to talk through a recent number of infractions that I know about, many of them minor, to illustrate this. I thank council for making some recent positive moves for openness in these meetings, and I hope that pattern continues from here on out with the new mayor and the new council. I'm not accusing the city of any violations of open meeting laws. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't want to try to do that. But I just want to point out a pattern of lack of transparency in recent meetings. I will, though, point out that Open Meetings Law, Chapter 21, opens with a statement of policy of intent that states that any ambiguity in the construction or application of the chapter should be resolved in favor of openness. That doesn't seem like it's always happening here. On May 23rd, 2023, the Des Moines City Council held a work session with a public agenda that stated the discussion would cover governance, just that one word. This meeting was not streamed or recorded, unlike most city council meetings. An open records request revealed that there actually was a detailed agenda and that it was a half-day meeting with a third-party contractor to discuss good governance best practices. It's not clear why the city didn't publish the real agenda publicly and why they did not record the workshop or stream it. It's ironic that the work session about good governance was handled with so much secrecy. Arbitrary secrecy is not good governance. From August 14th to October 6th last year, the city held 15 private meetings with developers to discuss policy. Many of these developers donated to council member election campaigns, and in November of 2023, a council member tried to discuss the related development agreements in a regular council meeting, but was shut down by another council member stating that this was not the setting to discuss development agreements. A work session was planned to discuss these further, but later that work session was replaced with secret meetings on February 19th, 2024, as reported by the Des Moines Register. Development agreements have been in the news lately on issues such as the downtown Hy-V cutting its hours and the stalled 515 skyscraper downtown. In October of 2023, the city of Des Moines lit the Women of Achievement Bridge blue in support of Israel. There is no public decision-making process or public vote for this action regarding an international issue. And more recently, when asked about other things regarding this issue, city council members stated that it is in the city's purview to take a position on international matters. On December 20th, 2023, a majority of the Des Moines City Council attended an event, Mayor T.M. Franklin County's public service celebration. The event was not announced the way that routine Des Moines City Council meetings are announced. It was not listed, and it's still not listed on the City Council meetings webpage or on the city's public calendar. At this meeting, members of council announced the naming of the new city building at 1200 Locust after Mayor County. Other plans for the new city building have not been voted on or publicly discussed, even as work continues. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll move to receive and file 60B.
It's been seconded. Please vote.